In this video, I'm going to be showing you 5 tips on how to shoot children's photography. If I miss any tips, feel free to leave it in the comments below to share your knowledge. These tips are just tips that I've found and learned over time of shooting. If you like the content, please give me a like so other people can see this and help the algorithm out, so other people can see the video. And subscribe to see more. Let's just get into it. For those who just want to get straight to the point, the 5 tips are: let the kids have fun, add the parents to the shoot, shoot at a high shutter speed, shoot at a high aperture, and bring some distractions for the kids. All right, now let's explain it. In no order, let the kids have fun. The kids are going to be kids. Depending on what age range you're shooting with. In my case, my recent shoot was with a 1-year-old. They're not worried about what you got to do. They don't care that you're on a time crunch. You have 20 minutes to shoot this. What type of song is playing possibly. They don't care what you're shooting with. If it's Sony, Canon, Nikon, that you got to get the focus right. They don't care about anything. They're there to have fun and enjoy themselves. And that's what you're there to capture, enjoying themselves. They're gonna go and be crying, laughing, having a hissy fit, whatever. Those are the moments that you're gonna try and capture. Hopefully there's some laughter and happiness in there. But those are the moments that you're there to capture, and that's them. That's what you're there for, to capture them in their domain. And have fun with it. They create their own shoot. The second one is add the parents to the shoot. Don't be afraid to say, hey, mom and dad, guardian, whoever, grandpa, grandma, uncle, get in the shot with them. Whoever's paying for these photos, yes, they want their baby, their kid to be photographed, but they are also part of that kid's life. So whatever moment that is there, try and capture that as well. They're the ones that's going to be looking back on it as well, and they say, man, I have nostalgia for looking at this. Like, look at me with my kid. This is my child that I've raised. Look at the growth, look at all that stuff. Those are the moments that you want to capture and look back, so they can look back on it and you can say, I remember such and such, and let the kid be themselves. You can try and do some canned portrait shots that you have planned, but if things don't go your way, it's fine. Just try and capture the kid being themselves in that moment. Number 3, now shooting at a high shutter speed is subjective. I understand everyone has their own preferences of how they want to shoot, but the way how I look and I'm adapting shooting with children, I take it as shooting sports. These kids are running around, they are trying to do whatever they feel like they want to do. And you have to be prepared for when you actually have that moment of when they have a nice big smile or they do some type of action or whatever. You only have a fraction of a second, and those are the moments that you want to make sure it is not blurry. You capture that moment, and that's what you were there for. These moments are going to go by so quickly, because if you're taking photos of a young child that's like 1-year-old, newborn type of thing, they are going to be squirming, moving, they're going to do whatever they feel like. And by having a high shutter speed, I would say a 1/200th of a second is best. The lowest I've ever shot, possibly, which I'm trying to not do, is 1/160th if you're in a pinch. But you got to make sure, if there's a lot of movement, you're going to be creating some motion blur in those pictures. So 1/200th, try and aim for that. Third tip is bring some type of distraction. These are kids, as I said before, as you should already know, but please don't forget to bring some type of distraction, a toy, a game, something that they can go and hold on to, something that gets their mind off of the fact that you got a stranger with a camera and these lights and stuff staring at me. you're forcing me to choose something I don't want to do, they're not gonna like it. But if you have something there to distract them, their favorite song, if it's, you know, a young child, a toy, a basketball, try and stay away from the video game type of things like cell phones, because that doesn't get too far. It doesn't really show as much character or characteristics and personality in the photos. So if they like, hey, you like basketball, try and do that. A football, something that has a bit more of a character that can bring into the picture. I believe this is number 5 now. So number 5, stopping down the aperture. I have a tendency to go and shoot at a lower aperture. I call it the artistic phase of myself. And if you have time throughout the shoot, try not to shoot the whole thing at like a f2.8 if your lens gets that low. Try not to do it throughout the whole shoot. I look at that as being a more of artistic addition to the photos, because you have blurry backgrounds and then you have things that are not in focus and everything looks so nice, and ooh, that's something, you know, a cell phone can't really do that they're trying to replicate now. But at the same time, you also have a tendency, if you're shooting at a low aperture, you're going to be losing those moments because they end up being out of focus, or you're going to have a shallow depth of field, so you're not going to catch all those special moments because certain things might be actually out of focus. It doesn't mean that you can't shoot at a low aperture at all, but just be aware that try and get some of these shots with a f4, f5.6 in that type of range, so that way you have more things in focus, so you can get the actual landscape of what's going on. And it also will help, because if you have someone like at a younger age, like a 1-year-old, they're going to be running around, moving around, doing whatever they feel like they want to do, and they're not going to have the wherewithal to think like, all right, let me just slow down to make sure he gets everything in focus and make sure these pictures are sharp. They are having the time of their life. So having a stop down aperture of like a f4 or f5.6 or so, that will really capture the whole ambiance of what is going on. You won't have too much out of focus. It'll be difficult to try and have a high shutter speed and lower aperture, but you're gonna have to crank the ISO up and 100% bring lights. Oh, please bring lights, or, you know, go out and shoot at a good time of the day. So those are my tips. I hope I explained clearly to everyone so you can understand what's going on. If you like the content, hit a like button so you can share it with other people, and the algorithm knows what good content is, and it makes me know if it's good content or not. Share it with friends that need this information. Subscribe if you'd like to get more information like this. More stuff coming soon. I hope you guys have a very blessed one. Stay safe. Peace.